Please be seated. I am not Brother Dave, as you may notice, but if you follow too closely the bulletin, you might see that his name is listed to preach. But Brother Dave is off to Korea to see his daughter. My husband and I, Daniel, always liked to entertain. We used to have people over at our home, whichever home it was at the time, and especially as the rector of a parish back in Farmingdale, we would host events in the rectory. It was also a great size for family events to bring everybody together. Well, we moved here to Tucson 8 years ago, and we continued the tradition for a time. Recently retired, there was still a lot of energy in our lives, and we had missed our family who had moved here ahead of us. So we would have family gatherings, they would bring their friends, and we invited new friends from our neighborhood, from our neighbors on the block. Now, we did slow down a little bit as Daniel's dad started to get frail, but he loved to party as much as anyone else. So we tried to keep up as much as we could. But you know, my house has never been in company-ready condition all the time. In fact, sometimes we invite company over to make sure we clean the house. But I've developed a little bit of a resistance to having people over, to hosting. I enjoy going out with my friends to restaurants where nobody has to worry about cooking or cleaning or anything. So as the 4th of July approached, I was conflicted. I've hosted it in the past, I thought about it, but we've only just got back from San Diego. And if, traveling has become a little bit more of a chore these days, It just seems like so much. You gotta pack things up, and then you gotta unpack them and get them away. And if you are a camper, by RV or not, it's a lot more of a to-do, to load up and then unload. So I think at our last time we were gathering, we were kind of giving each other the side eye to see who might step up to the plate for the 4th of July. And I kept my fingers crossed, hoping someone else would. But the other couple who has done it in the past, they're getting a little older, and the wife has a bad back, and even though their son was coming, he was going to get there at the last minute, whatever. So finally, Dan and I looked at each other yesterday and said, I guess we should invite everybody over for the 4th of July, and we did. And I do still love having company. It's all the before and the after that's a bit of much. Well, today's gospel is about welcoming. It is about hospitality, not the kind we show to our family and friends, though I'm sure that is a good thing to do, but the welcome we give to other disciples and to those who Jesus refers to as the little ones. Jesus said, whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. Now, Jesus has already sent the 12 out to bring the good news. He warned them that they may not be welcomed by everyone. Yet he tells them, do not fear those who can kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. He reassures them of God's care. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hairs on your head are all counted. So do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows. He also warns of the divisions and rejections that will come, even from within their own families. In the passage today, Jesus makes clear that those who welcome the disciples welcome him, and those who welcome him welcome the one who sent him. He expands it to speak of prophets and righteous people. And this may be a reference to the early church, where itinerant prophets and other believers may have traveled with messages from other areas. Jesus then says, whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. We all may be somewhat familiar with prophets, and we heard about them in our readings and their role. And even a visiting righteous person is a pretty clear description. But who are these little ones? My New Testament professor said that this reference in Matthew's gospel mostly refers to the disciples. Yet I wonder, who made up those first disciples? Mostly those of little account in their societies, the marginalized, outcasts, the poor. This was true of much of the early followers of Jesus. Though some may have had wealth and come from the merchant class, the majority were poor. People of little account, we might say at least to the wealthy and those with power. The little ones are the disciples, and by extension, we who walk in their footsteps today. We are the present-day disciples. And the little ones are also those who are sent to us, both here in the church and in our lives. Those who are in need, those who are outcast and oppressed. The message is clear. They are to be welcomed. Most of us in the church do our best to be welcoming. Yet we always have to be on our guard because it is too easy to forget the true reason for welcoming others. It's not so our numbers will grow and our pews will be full. Although when we are welcoming and making new disciples, growth does happen. We've been given the mission to continue our discipleship, to grow into our relationship with God and Jesus Christ, and to make disciples of others. When we welcome others in Jesus' name, when we welcome each other as disciples, we are welcoming Jesus himself and the one who sent him. Welcoming, showing hospitality to each other, and especially to those who are not welcomed elsewhere, is an expression of God's love, and equally an expression of our love of God. It is at times a hostile and unwelcoming world we live in. These are difficult times for everyone, but especially the little ones who cannot afford food or housing or health care. There are too many people peddling hate out there, trying to divide us, trying to drive people to despair. They try to turn us against those who are different, those who have come to this country in the hope of a better life, or to escape violence and persecution in their own country. Those who love differently than we do. They hope to divide us in order to maintain their control of the wealth and power in this country. Yet the followers of Jesus, the church, have always been part of a countercultural movement. Yes, we may have enjoyed a majority and dominance in our culture at different times, but that could never last. It was always being undermined by the radical message of love and care for the least among us, and the love and care we are called to show each other. When we live out our countercultural faith as disciples, we become little ones. We become vulnerable ourselves. If we walk alongside those who are being oppressed and persecuted, we may find ourselves in danger as well. We've seen this only too clearly in the opposition to ICE. People of faith and other righteous people have been jailed and even killed when they have stood up for their vulnerable neighbors. It's not an easy or safe thing to walk among others who are the targets of hate and oppression. And we may not all be called to put our lives on the line. However, we are called to support and welcome those who do, the prophets and the righteous ones. We need to be ready to do all we are able to support each other in this journey of discipleship, even if it is simply to offer a glass of water. As Jesus tells us, "When I was thirsty, you gave me drink."